What's up guys, Ramsey here, back for another Raid Shadow Legends video, and today I'm going to show you how to build Alice the best way possible, and you'll see that I'm going against what every other content creator say. The fact is, this champion, other than in some Siege team possibly, is not gonna get a lot of views in endgame content, but she's going to be amazing for early, mid-game progression and the beginning of endgame. But the build that I'm going to show you is going to be a lot better for you if you want to progress and use her to help you progress. So in this video, I'm going to show you all the build, all the relics, all the masteries, all the stuff you want to use, and then I'm going to showcase her in Arena. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Ramsey. I started Raid Shadow Legends back in 2019. I'm one of the first content creators, but I've been doing content in French all this time, and I'm not transitioning to English. That's why you probably never heard of me, but I've been there way before most of the content creator you already know. So here's the problem with this type of champion is that we need to decide, do we want to use her for damage or do we want to use her with accuracy to control the enemy? So you're gonna have two ways of building her. One way is to put her in full damage. So you probably saw a lot of videos from content creators telling you to put her in damage and then put some accuracy. That would help a little bit for your progression if you want to use her mainly in PvE. In PvE, she'll be great, damage and some accuracy. Even in early game PvP, that will work. If you want to actually start progressing in PvP with her, even at my level, I have a 25 million a power account. I've been playing the game for over 5 years now, probably 6. And even at my level, I'm not a whale, so it's extremely hard to build her with enough damage and enough accuracy for her to be efficient and do both in endgame arena. So it's just not realistic for 99% of players. So again, you can build her in damage, but what I'm going to show you is focusing on accuracy and speed first, and then behind this, we start to build up a little bit of damage the best we can. And great example of a similar champion that actually got a massive buff lately and is amazing now is Gergo. Gergo is amazing in that way because he has really good multiplier. He does good damage, but the debuff that he places are amazing. So what we want to do with Gergo is first, you've probably seen videos again where people build him in full damage and then try to build some accuracy. The issue is, again, other than having a 4-star plus 4 Gergo, you cannot possibly get enough damage and enough accuracy for him to be efficient. So what we're going to do instead is build him in speed and accuracy, and then we're going to start building up this damage so that he can help the nuker that comes right after him. That's exactly what we want to do with Alice. So I'm going to show you Alice right here, up, and then I'm going to show her in Arena. As you can see, if you look at the stat, I've gone for speed first and then some accuracy. This is too low. I'm on the test server. It's just to show you an example. Again, we're mostly going to use her in early, mid-game, and the beginning of endgame. So, you know, it's mostly for the example here. She's obviously not optimized like crazy, but once I have my speed and my accuracy, that's when I then want to build up a little bit of damage. So she has a little too much crit rate. She doesn't have crazy crit damage. But what we're going to see is that now we can pretty much guarantee, other than, of course, we can get resist, we can get a weak heat. We can pretty much guarantee that, better if it's in English, we can increase that cooldown. We can almost guarantee that we're going to increase that cooldown and reduce that turn meter, which locks out the enemy team completely, and then we have our nuker that can go behind her. Don't get me wrong, she's an amazing DPS. She does some great damage. She has a really good skill set, but she's not one of the top damage dealers. So again, if she's your only option, your early mid-game, go for it. Use her as a damage dealer. She'll do great. If you're a little more advanced and you already have a really good nuker for either it's wave content or arena, don't use her as a damage dealer. Use her as a control champion, and then you want to build up some damage to help. So I'm going to showcase her in arena real quick, and then I'll show you all the build. Now, those teams are kind of like a little all over the place just because it's a test server. That's all the other content creators. So here's the team we're going to use. Again, it's not going to be amazing against really tanky, full stone skin, super ultra endgame teams, but up to gold 5, you're going to be able to farm gold 5 really well with her. So I'm just using Armands to make sure we don't get cut, just because again the team is not optimized, just to showcase her. But that A3, that A2 is just too good. It's just too good not to be using her, especially if you're like me on my main account. I just don't have a lock champion this way. I do have the epic champion, which I don't use. But here we go. We can go again unless we get the fear, unfortunately. But if you don't have a warlord, I don't have a warlord. I don't have a Yumiko. There are 3 or 4 champions only that can lock abilities that way, and I only have the epic one on my account. So if you limited in that sense, just like I am, she's going to be an amazing candidate to do that for you, especially with that turn meter reduction. Let's go try this one. And what's great if we build it this way is that in addition to locking the enemy and reducing that turn meter, she's also gonna start doing some damage, which is great because that's what we want, because then it's going to help the nuker that comes behind. So you see here, she doesn't have great damage built in, but she got rid of that shield already. We got rid of the shield and we did a little bit of damage, and then our nuker can come in and does what it does, you know? So in that sense, I think she's amazing. Again, especially if you don't have a lock champion like a warlord or a Yumiko. There's also, and here we can nuke. Now, she's not going to do amazing damage, but she'll do enough, you know? She'll do some good damage that way. So she has great multiplier. Don't hesitate to build her this way. She'll be, I think, a lot better for your overall progress. Again, if you don't care about arena, you don't want to use an arena, you know, you can just build to full damage. But in this case, she, I think, is a lot more efficient this way for most players out there. Again, we're not talking super endgame arena, Kraken content, whatever you want. But for everything else, she'll be a lot better with a lot more accuracy, especially in arena. And you see, I mean, again, those teams are not super tanky, but she still does some damage. She still does some good damage, even though she's built mostly in accuracy. And what's good is that everybody's going to get her 5 stars. We all going to get her with a 5-star blessing. So she will have that extra crit damage, that extra built-in damage anyways. So it's very easy to build her full accuracy and a little bit of damage just to help the nuker. So as long as you make sure you don't, you know, you have good speed, or you have people helping you with your turn meter to make sure she doesn't get cut and she can play, you'll do amazing. You'll do amazing with her. I mean, we got cut here, but we're locking down everything. Now we can just nuke. She won't get my cooldown. I mean, her skills are on cooldown, so I'm not even worried about her. And that's going to be it. Let's do this. She can't do much. She can't do much right now. She's on cooldown, so let's kill her this way. And now we can start nuking. I mean, she doesn't nuke that much, but she does some damage, you know? And that's what we want. We first want to lock the enemy and then do a little bit of damage to help whoever comes next to do all the damage. So here's Alice. Again, you know, those are not like super tanky teams, but it works great this way. If I put her in a wave content right now, she won't do amazing against the wave, but she will do some good damage and lock out the enemy. So just to showcase her in PvE, I'll just do a wave real quick. Again, she's not going to nuke the wave, but she'll do some good damage and lock out everything. She might even actually nuke that. There you go. She nuked that wave pretty easily in the Minotaur. Let's see, in Dragon, she probably won't nuke the wave, but she'll do some fair damage and lock out everything. So up, here we go, defense down and weaken, and A2. So, you know, it's not, you're not going to be using her as your main nuker unless you built her as your main nuker, but she does a little bit of damage and she's she locked down the wave. So this works great. And then when you start doing that A3, she's putting out some really good damage with that A3. I mean, that guy's almost dead. So really good champion. Again, not built for that right here, but there we go. In a good team, she could do some good work for you as well this way. So up to you again, where you're going to use her. I would use her, if I was more early mid game, I would use it this way in arena. So here's what how we have her gear. Again, she has 5-star blessing, so obviously a lot of extra stats. You will be getting the 5-star blessing in the login reward thing, which obviously is great. A little bit of feral here just to get the extra stat. But basically, once we have our accuracy and our speed, we then go for as much damage as we can. So I put some crit rate gloves here just to make sure, again, I had enough speed and accuracy. If you want to go crit damage and have a little less crit rate, you can absolutely do that. Here are the masteries. So accuracy and Helm Smasher to come get some more damage. Again, you can reverse that, lose a little bit of the damage, and come get the 50 accuracy. That's up to you. Really depends on how you want to use her. Relic wise, any relics that are going to help the damage will be great. Something like this, if you build her in full damage, this is great. Where her next attack after killing an enemy deals 20% more damage. This is going to be great with her passive, where she get bonus damage and extra turn. 50% damage each turn for each turn remaining. All skills cooldown, the bonus damage is contained for each target. Reset the cooldown of one of these champion skills each time they kill an enemy. Occur once per turn. So that would work great with this relic. And in terms of blessings, it really depends again who you use her with. But Heaven Cast, usually we're gonna have some buff in arena on the team. So Heaven Cast will do more damage with the buff from Arbiter, for example. Plus, you get that extra, obviously, that's with everything, but accuracy and crit damage. And here are the total stats. Again, mostly, speed to make sure we don't get cut, and then accuracy, and then we go and attack, of course, and then we go get as much damage with attack, crit rate, and crit damage. I was also asked why not, if I'm going to build her in accuracy, why not just use Basher as a, increased cooldown champion? Two reasons, especially that is void, so he won't weak hit. Two reasons. First reason is that he doesn't have a turn meter reduction on the attack, which Alice does. She also puts 2 turns, but also is going to reduce that turn meter. So it is a better ability, but also the way she's built, she's going to do this plus do some damage, which Basher won't do, which really helps set up a nuker that comes right after. Especially that if we don't put a defense down on the enemy and all that stuff, we want to start, getting some chunk from that HP on the enemy so that the nukers coming right after can really nuke. Plus that turn meter reduction is amazing to make sure we don't get cut, because now between blessings and relics, it's really easy to get cut in arena. There we go, guys. This is the build. Again, if you want to use her in more endgame arena and you're going to put some damage on her and you have 200-300 accuracy, it's simply not enough. Nowadays, with everything that we have in the game, even nukers that are not supposed to have any resistance, they do naturally have some resistance because we gain a lot of stats from a lot of other things than just gear. So even nukers, if you have 200-300 accuracy, you will not be able to put their skills in cooldown. And that is why you want to switch it here, do accuracy first to make sure we have enough accuracy and speed, and then build up some damage to help the nuker that comes next. This is how I think most players should build her. Again, this exclude super endgame Kraken type of arena, which she won't be used in that scenario anyways. That's it for the video, guys. Again, let me know what you think in the comment section. And again, if the video was helpful, don't forget to, subscribe, like the video and whatnot. We'll see you in the next one.